Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here. This is going to be just a Ask Mr. Hall of Fame video. I think number 2, I believe. Just, as I mentioned in my previous videos, I've been writing down all the questions that you guys have been asking me in my other videos, and going to get to every one of them. So I'm just going to hit a few tonight. So let's start off with Steve Carlson, Vinyl Community, has 2 questions. What would I like to dive more into? And has my taste changed over the years? And the example he gave was, is there things that maybe I liked when I was younger, but I can't stand now? Things I would like to delve more into, really kind of 2 things. Number 1, kind of deeper, more underground psychedelic stuff. I've learned quite a bit in psychedelic. I've been introduced to a lot, mainly through the VC is where I've done most of my learning. But I still know that I'm so far away from really knowing a lot of those, awesome underground stuff you'll just never hear about unless someone from the VC actually tells you about it, that type of thing. And I know there's just so much incredible stuff there, and I would like to become more, I'm not even gonna say knowledgeable, I would like to become more aware, so I can kind of look for that stuff and have the opportunity to, start to listen to it and really dive into that. So that's one area I would like to grow quite a bit. I know not too long ago I bought a reel-to-reel tape deck, and one of the first things I wanted to do was to make 2 complete reels of just, great psychedelic stuff. So what I did was I just plugged my computer into the inputs and was just recording stuff right off of YouTube. And I would just, type in psychedelic playlist or something like that. And just with the few hours that I worked on and been working on that, I just discovered some of the most incredible bands and music and just, stuff I just have no clue about. And I know there's so much more out there. So that's one area I would love to dive more into, and always, open to suggestions from you guys out there that really know that stuff and have bands that you love in that realm. I would also say I'd like to dive a little more into what I kind of refer to as some of the more hidden classic R&B. I love 60s and 70s R&B, love it. I love 80s R&B, 90s, 2000s can totally live without. But 60s and 70s R&B is definitely one area that I love to death. And you have all your classic artists like your Wilson Pickett's, your Sam and Dave, all your Motown stuff, your Isaac Hayes, your Stax stuff, and all of that. But it's kind of more so, that's kind of a good example. Maybe someone like a Solomon Burke. Most people know that name, and I have a couple albums by him, and I love the albums I have. But I don't really know his catalog, on a deep, deep level, and I don't know a lot of his great B-side stuff and all of that. And I know there's some incredible stuff there that I'm missing and not getting an opportunity to kind of listen and discover and take in. So, artists like that, Hathaway, John Taylor, artists that are big names, and most people know those names, but like how many people truly know their deep, deep B-side? This was never a hit. This was never even close to radio play, but it was, Solomon just doing some incredible stuff. I would like to dive more in and discover more of that part of the early R&B world as well. So second question, has my taste changed over the years? And is there, things that I like when I was younger, maybe that I can't stand now? Well, my taste has definitely changed, but not from a standpoint of not liking anything anymore. My taste has basically changed by just always widening. As most of you that know me here in the VC know, I'm very open, listen to a lot of different things, and cheesiness, coolness, and everything in between doesn't matter to me. Once something rings nice in my ears, I like it. Oftentimes I want to have it. And once it rings nice in my ears, I will pretty much always love it. I may not play it as frequently, but once I like something, I tend to always like it. I can't think of really a band or anything where I can honestly say, oh, I used to love them and now I can't stand them anymore. I really can't think of like a single one. But what I can think of, and what tends to happen with me, is bands and stuff that I could not stand, I end up maturing into and liking further down the road. That happens all the time. I can remember in junior high school getting Master of Puppets for the first time. A friend gave me that tape. I thought it was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Didn't get it, didn't make sense. Why'd you give me this thing in the first place? Couldn't stand it. One of my top 3 favorite thrash metal albums of all time today. White Zombie, another great example. You know, Thunder Kiss 65, all that stuff with Les Exorcists and all of that. Thought it was the dumbest stuff in the entire world. One of my favorite albums of all time now. Seal, another artist that I hated when I was younger. I can remember seeing that video, Crazy, for the first time. I'll never forget that it was after school. My brothers had just finished playing Nintendo. I turned on the TV, put on the MTV or whatever, and that video came on, and I thought, this is the dumbest thing. It makes no sense. You know, this guy's an idiot, blah, blah, blah. Today, I think just one of the coolest, just most emotionally driven, you know, he amazes me at what he does today. Chris Isaac, I mean, I can go on and on. So there's so many artists that I didn't like that I do love today, but not really any that go the other way around. So let's move on to the next question here. Karsten, My Analog Corner, Dr. Love in my book. Do I play guitar? I know how to make a guitar make noises that resemble songs. So I guess in that regard, yes. But am I ready to, you know, get on stage and play a full set with a band or something like that? Yeah, no, nothing like that at all. I really got into it about maybe 9 or 10 years ago when I started kind of playing, but the bug just didn't catch me. You know, in the world of music, the listening and collecting and all of that, that drove me. There was more passion there than learning to play guitar. So I think I sold like 2 or 3 of the guitars I had, and the major amp that I had at the time and all that stuff. It just didn't quite catch me the same way as the listening and collecting side. What do I do? You kind of asked me about my job and that type of thing. I work in the financial service industry. I'm as an advisor. And do I like Volbeat? Why or why not? Sorry to say, no, I do not like Volbeat. Most of those bands that kind of fall in that category, excuse me, you know, of Volbeat, I'm thinking of stuff like, I don't know, Avenged Sevenfold or Five Finger Death Punch, My Chemical Romance, and just like all that kind of stuff, Seven Dust. I can't stand that stuff. And so I don't know, maybe 20 years from now they'll be my favorite. I don't know. But yeah, I can't stand that stuff. And Volbeat is one of those bands that kind of falls into that category for me. Now, let me say, I did see Volbeat when they opened for Metallica. And yeah, maybe I don't like their music and that type of thing. But whoever the lead singer is, I forgot his name off the top of my head. Boy's got pipes. I mean, he can sing his ass off. So, you know, I give him much props on that. He has a serious voice, and his live performance, I mean, dude can sing without question. But yeah, again, in general, I don't like, I'm not a big Volbeat fan. Eddie Hanna, he had a question where he asked me to show my Hendrix box set, and then also Doors box set. And I think with the albums you mentioned there, I'm not sure if you were talking about the CD one or the other vinyl box set. So I thought I would wait and maybe show the Hendrix stuff next time when I clarify on that. But you did ask about the Doors box set, so I'll just share that with you really quick. Here's the CD box set. And I'll go through this kind of quick too. Again, since it's not a box set video, but want to address your question there. Kind of opens up like this. These are all little mini LPs, and they are actual replicas. So albums that were gatefolds, the CDs are gatefolds, and they have, you know, the inserts and everything. Little booklet there. And like I said, let me just draw these out really quick. So you have, of course, subtitle, which is actually playing in the background right now. And like I said, I'll put one out here too, so you can see, you know, little inner sleeves with the gatefolds, or not the gatefolds, with the inner sleeve for the CDs, which is kind of nice. Here you have one of the gatefolds. So again, you know all these albums, I'll just go through them really quick. One of my favorite Doors album covers there. I love that one. And you got a little more just Hotel there. And they're true replicas. You can see there, even LA Woman is just like the vinyl, and it has the little, you know, the yellow inner sleeve there. And last but not least, this is a little rarities that's added to the CD box set. So that's what the CD box set is like. That's what it's like empty. And then really quick here, oh, I'll sit over here. I'll show you this one as well, which is the vinyl box set. That's just where I moved the sticker to. It's not actually on the set there. So this is a pretty cool set as well. And again, basically the same thing that you saw there in the CD set, so I won't spend much time on these as well. But you have, again, the classic self-titled there. Same thing there. Oh, sorry about the glare. And again, I'm not talking about these. I know you guys probably know these inside and out. Gosh, I just so love that cover. I never get tired of looking at that. And then Morrison's Hotel, same thing. And one of the things I also mentioned, because I'm thinking about it with this particular set, you know, you guys always hear me talk about, you know, trying to keep costs down on, you know, in the whole collecting world and all that good stuff. Well, one of the things that I've done a number of times that is really, and just to mention why there's two of these in there, one's a mono pressing and one's a stereo pressing inside the vinyl box set. I was going to say, with this particular set, one of the things that I've done and have been very successful is if you go into there's a store you visit all the time, and if they've had stuff that's been just kind of sitting on the shelf for a long time, you know, year and a half, that type of thing, just hasn't moved, don't hesitate to go up to, you know, the owner or whatever and say, hey, this has been sitting over here, I've been seeing like, you know, the last year or so and it hasn't moved. I was just curious if you might be open to an offer on it, or, you know, kind of whatever. So many times I've gotten people that have said yes to that because they want to move the product if it hasn't been moving. And I just thought about that because this was kind of an example of this box that had been sitting on the shelf for quite some time. And I just asked the guy and he was like, sure, what would you offer for it? I shot him a number and he was like, let's do it. So just another money-saving buying tip there. All right, so let's go. I'll do one more here because we're getting at about the 13-minute mark. Bad English Rex, let's see, asked, how often do you buy both CDs and vinyl, and how many bands do I have on both formats? Well, to answer the second part of that question, I actually went in I have an Excel spreadsheet for my database, so it was easy just to kind of redo the sort and see how many do I have on both CD and vinyl. And I have 1,112 albums that I have on both CD and vinyl. When I also did the sort again, I looked, how many albums do I have on vinyl, CD, and cassette? I have 497 albums that I have on all three formats. Now, outside of just the collecting, you know, people may ask, well, why do you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, one thing that I definitely know is, for me, it's a completely different experience playing some albums on vinyl as compared to cassette as compared to CD. And I know with some genres, I just tend to like them better on certain formats. So the collector in me, you know, may like the aspect of vinyl, CD, and cassette, but I know that when it comes to listening to metal, I tend to, you know, really favor vinyl and cassettes more so than CDs when it comes to playing metal. You know, when it comes to playing, I don't know, maybe, I guess I can kind of go through the whole list. You know, when it comes to playing jazz, I have jazz on cassettes, I have jazz on CD, I have jazz on vinyl. I don't like jazz as much on cassette. I tend to prefer it on vinyl or CD. It's just so that there's just different experiences that you get with different formats, and I think if anything, you know, we've had this whole debate. I'm just kind of throwing this in here at the end. You know, people are always talking about, is vinyl better? You know, is digital better? And you have these videos where people talking about, you know, this many hertz and the range and the compression and blah blah blah. This is why this is better. And my thing is like, all that, quite frankly, is crap in my opinion, which is maybe why I collect all three formats. And I don't mean crap as in like factually inaccurate. I mean crap as in no one else in the world ears interpret sound and communicate it with your brain in the way that your brain interprets and transmits those signals. Nobody else does it the way that your ears and your brains do it. I mean, it just, we may all be very similar, but yours is the only one that works exactly the way that yours works. So when I hear someone that says digital sounds better to me, even though in general vinyl sounds better to me, I truly believe they're telling the truth and saying digital sounds better to them. I don't think they're just making it up, or vice versa. You know, I would think that what was that Yanni Laurel thing or whatever would kind of tell us something, that the same thing could be played and we could all hear it in very different ways, you know, based on frequencies and all that other stuff. So I've just come to find I get a different experience with vinyl, with cassettes, with everything else. So I just choose to kind of be able to enjoy it all and appreciate the differences they all bring in. And that's kind of why I collect so many different things on different formats. So, and also it's just kind of cool, plain and simple, really. I mean, that's part of the collector side of me. But anyway, so yeah, there you go, VC. A couple of answers to a few questions there. As always, let me know what you think, and please, any new questions or anything else you guys want to know, put them down below there. I will get them in the book and make sure at some point in time I will get to them. All right, take care, guys.